This question I thought was really good. And what riding behaviors or actions commonly look like suspension problems?
Being ham-fisted or being not smooth. If you ever, I get this kind of cheap because I get to look at a data trace and I can see somebody that, they've let off the throttle and then they're like 2%, 4%, 8%, and you see them slowly start to progress on the throttle. Where I've come into a lot of different riders and it's like they're at 0%, they're back at 20%, they're back at 0%. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Are you slowing down? Are you giving a gas? I mean, make a decision what it is that you're doing. And because you're doing all this, or you're 14 bar pressure, 6 bar pressure, 14 bar, and you're going doing all this, guess what? The bike's doing all that. Well, the suspension's only doing what you tell the bike to do. And if you're doing this, well, then the bike's going to do that. But then it's you. It's not the bike. You're the one making that bike do that. Once you get to a certain spot, stay there. Best thing to do most of the time is nothing. You're committed. Now start accelerating, right? Not, I think I got to stop. Wait, I think I got to this. Street bike riding is a little bit different story because, there's so many variables. And again, I don't care how fast you think you are. You're still better off, I think, being on the softer side of suspension. I think you'll just enjoy the vehicle a lot more.
How can someone tell if they're overloading the front versus not trusting it enough?
That's a lot of different variables because it can be suspension. It can be, a lot of times, could be tire pressure. And tire pressures on a race tire are so different compared to what we run on the street. I mean, tire pressures, say the Dunlop tires, we'll run 40 to 45 pounds of pressure in the front tire on a Dunlop. The reason you run that higher pressure is to keep the tire round as you're braking into the corner. So it doesn't feel like you're riding on a melted ice cream sandwich or something, right? Or it's just mushy. So you up the pressure to keep it round. The rear pressures were down at like 18, 19 to give you maximum grip, maximum contact patch. Mind you, on the street, it's, again, a lot of people think that they're riding really, really, really hard. And riding slicks on the street is probably one of the dumbest things, even though I used to do it. I think we all did when we were doing street bike riding. You just don't ride the bike hard enough to keep those tires up to temp. There might be a few people out there in their local canyons that, might go okay, but still, they're probably better off on a set of sport tires, Q5s or a set of Rossos or, Bridgestones or whatever it may be, right? So, a lot of people never check tire pressures. And I think that's probably the biggest reason why, if they lack a confidence of going into a corner, is because the tire's either folding on itself or they told me to run this. Well, it said 44 pounds on the side of the tire. No, sir, that's fully loaded. And again, you tend to jump on the internet and try to find out all these answers. And instead of doing that, I would actually just call any suspension guy. You can call me, you can call anybody across the country, right? And they will give you a better answer than some guy that probably doesn't even ride a motorcycle that's being a keyboard warrior saying, yeah, you should run this. Okay.
What should a rider focus on to learn and articulate feel before chasing advanced suspension tuning?
Well, the unfortunate thing on stock suspension, there's not a lot you can do. And I don't care if you go out and buy, an expensive European bike that has, a name brand Olin suspension on it, right? Or it's that's for the rider to try different springs or more preload. Again, I tell people the reason why all those numbers are there or all those adjustments are there, they're there for a reason. Try it. You might like something better. And especially bikes that are from a dealership, I guarantee you 90% of them, the clickers have never been adjusted coming out of the box. They were however they were thrown in at the manufacturer, and could be closed, could be open, and at least see where your settings are at, right? And so at least know where you're at. Start in the middle, somewhere in the middle, whatever it is. Find out what maximum is, what minimum is. Start in the middle, go ride your bike, and then, like you said, make a big change. 5 or 6 clicks, 5 or 6 turns of preload. Make a big change to see if you can feel the difference in the bike. And if you do, then you know, hey, that was better, or no, that was worse. But at least you have a starting point of trying to make the bike better for you. And you'll find that the stock stuff usually doesn't have as much range as you'd like. And this is where you come into, aftermarket products.
And if you could teach one principle that most riders never fully understand about their suspension, what would it be?
I probably revert back to the basic questions of, does the bike finish a corner? Is the bike stable? Is it doing the basic things that you want the bike to do? Can you tighten up a corner? Once you get that kind of understanding of what you want that bike to do and what your suspension is capable of doing, then you can start making changes. I do see this for these new track day riders. It was, hey, what's the setup? I'm like, what do you mean? Well, I'm going to go to the track this weekend for my first time. So what's my setup? I'm like, just ride your bike. Why chase your tail? Even pro riders will do this. Oh, let's get the thing set up. I'm like, just ride your bike from the last time you rode it and be comfortable with it, and then make changes based on what you want the bike to do. And not just settle for, oh, this is what it is. And, because you can always make changes. I've had people say, well, I don't know. Oh, you don't know? I'll get the screw and I'll turn it all the way in, or I'll add all the preload. Go ride again. Oh my God, that's horrible. Well, then you lied to me. You told me you didn't know, right? So now you have a point of direction of what you want that rider, or what that rider wants that bike to do.
Brian and I had an experience with Champ School years ago, and we talked, but Champ School had us on the bikes, they had us turn all the things to zero, preload to zero, compression to zero, rebound to zero, and then go turn some laps. And then they had us like crank everything to the max and then go ride some laps. Oh, yeah. And it was one of the most enlightening experiences in the world, because the bike with everything set to zero was relatively easy to ride.
When it was all the way opened up, all the rebound, everything was opened up as much as it could. It was really obvious when you made a mistake. And what you said, Mike, about, hey, a lot of these issues are coming from what you're telling the bike, the inputs you're giving it, right? Are you smashing onto the front end? Are you hammering the gas in the middle of a corner? All that kind of stuff. When we opened up all the suspension, it was like all your sins were revealed. Like every little mistake you made, it was just painfully obvious that you're like, oh, I'm abrupt right here. What am I doing in this transition?
Yes.
But you got so much input from it. You're like, oh, I need to smoothen up here a little. I need to do this a little more. And you could get, maybe not as fast, but you could get pretty dang fast with a wide open suspension. You just had to be dead smooth and perfect kind of everywhere.
Right.
But then when you went to the fully locked up setup, man, it just felt like you were ice skating everywhere. You couldn't get the tires.
Yeah, suspension's not moving. The tire is just skidding across the top of the pavement because it can't move.